God damn.
Introducing my favorite co-host, Josh, aka Xell.
What's up, everybody?
Your original DJ for the night, followed by his sidekick slash other host for the pre-show. I'm Scarra. Welcome to Greatest League Talkshow pre-show, the show where we only have because we went away from Mark to come from the studio.
Yep.
That's
shit! I need to set the timer.
one of the only reasons. And I've just recently acquired a fidget spinner for free from the LCS, so I'm quickly getting in onto the hip and cool stuff. So all you kids out there, I'm like you guys now.
Oh my god. I thought like fidget spinners were like people like them ironically, you know? And then suddenly it was just like it was no longer ironic. Everyone was just like, "Oh my god, fidget spinners."
Yeah, you got it, dude. I knew it was big when we went to E3 and the party favors they had at the after parties were giving out fidget spinners. I was just like, dude, these are industry professional parties that you guys are throwing out.
Yeah.
And each of the like gift bags or whatever will have fidget spinners in them. I was just like, I'm missing out, so I had to snag one of these real quick.
So funny. I don't have a fidget spinner. You know, I don't need it. I don't need it.
You can go to the LCS and get free ones,
yeah,
dude.
P1.
This is a P1 fidget spinner. They're just giving them out.
You're fucking signed by Echo Fox. What are you doing with the P1 fidget spinner?
Well, if it's free, dude, I'll shill out for anything. Are you serious?
True. So yeah, I don't know. It's so funny when the timer's going down and like trying to decide what music I want to play. It's so funny to see people like the weebs versus the non-weebs have like an all-out civil war inside your chat.
Yeah, people are like, it's Orlando playing the music, right? And I was just thinking to myself, nope, that's Josh.
Yeah. Wait, you guys don't think I listen to rap music? Isn't that what the kids are into these days?
Yeah, exactly, dude. We try to be very hip and topical on this show.
Yeah, clearly with the fidget spinner and Kendrick Lamar. And then it's so funny when I turn the music into weeb music, and then everyone's just like, half the chat goes like nuts. They're like, "Ohio, this is the best thing ever," and then the other one's like, "Please kill me." So that's pretty fun.
Speaking about anime, let's go to our first topic of the day. Let's talk about Anime Expo.
Oh yeah, so Anime Expo is coming up this next weekend. Starts on Friday and goes all the way till Monday. It's 4 days, right?
I can't believe it's a 4-day event. First of all, BlizzCon is a 2-day event.
Yeah.
Anime Expo is just like, you know what? We're twice as good as BlizzCon.
I mean, Anime Expo is crazy. Like, it's having gone for like the last couple of years, it's getting bigger every year. It feels like last year you had a little wiggle room, you know, but this year I feel like it's going to be like even more packed. Like, anime just in general is just like it's up and to the right. It's crazy.
Oh, I know. It's gonna be nuts. And everyone in my house is going, and so we're hoping to make like a something. We're gonna do something there in terms of like a video or something because everyone just really wants to go. Personally, it's one of the only conventions I love going to because I just like buying cool shit. And the thing about Anime Expo is they have a whole artist alley where artists just will
selling tons of cool shit.
Yeah, sell tons of cool stuff that you can put up in your room.
Yeah, something
that I desperately need because the back of my room is literally empty.
Yeah, I mean, last year I bought I think like $200 worth of like posters and random things. Like that's what happens every year. We should carpool because parking is a bitch and costs $1 billion.
I actually think literally Ubering there and back might be cheaper than driving there. Maybe. Probably not.
No, there's no way because Ubering there and back is like at least $40. So you might as well pay the $20-$30 for parking instead.
All right, you sold me. But we're gonna have to because our whole house is going essentially. Yeah. So unless half the people want to go in the Uber, which is definitely a possibility. I don't even know if I'm not going all 4 days. There's no way.
Yeah, well, I'm only going Friday and maybe Monday.
I think that the best time.
Actually, Friday is the best day to go.
Is Friday the first day?
Yeah.
Wait.
Friday's the first day, and then it goes through the weekend and goes.
Why is Friday the best way to go?
Well, so Monday is the worst day to go because if you're trying to buy anything,
it's gone.
It's gone, and that goes for every convention. So if any of you guys ever go to a convention, buy your shit early. You know, 't like super early because then you have to contend with the lines and stuff. But like definitely don't go there on the last day expecting to find anything today to buy. Sorry.
I get really picky when I go to Anime Expo now. I only want to buy stuff I've never seen before online, and it's like a very specific like type of art.
Yeah.
And so I think last year I went through the entire thing. I bought 2 pieces. This year I expect to do something like that too. But it's cool to look. I actually really like it.
Yeah, it's fun. And I get to see a lot of my friends and everything, so it's good. So funny enough, this year I got a industry pass.
Yeah,
because Riot Games is an anime based company.
Yeah, they have Sailor Moon skins. Woo!
Yeah, so it's funny because when you apply for an industry badge, it asks you like, what does your company have to do with anime, and like whatever. And so I was like, well, the market research indicates that anime and League of Legends has a huge crossover, and so I basically argued on that front. And they're like, okay, sure, here's your industry pass. And I was like, okay, great. I guess
I should have tried something like that. I should be like, yeah, I'm with Echo Fox. You may have heard of them. I'm just saying, we know Rick Fox, who also may tangentially be associated with anime.
Rick Fox is actually the biggest weeb, and therefore we need. Can you imagine if Rick Fox was actually just like the biggest closet weeb ever?
That'd actually be so funny. I would love that actually. He
comes out with like a fucking. Oh my god, you guys need to make that a video. Like Rick Fox goes to Anime Expo or something. Oh my god, that video would do so well.
That'd be so funny.
Oh my god. He needs to cosplay as one of the people from Kuroko no Basket too.
What?
Think about how good that would be. Think about how good that would be. Like
that'd actually be so good.
Oh my god.
Alright. We have the $1 million idea. I'm gonna call Rick Fox like right after this show.
See, this is why they pay me the big bucks to make videos, guys. This is why I got hired right as a producer.
Yeah, he just gets these ideas where you're just like genius. We gotta do this today.
He starts doing anime poses in front of like Anime Expo signs and stuff. Oh, Rick Fox would never do this.
Wait, you don't think Rick Fox would ever go to Anime Expo?
Not in the way that I'm saying. There's just no way.
I'm just saying, dude. He's done crazier. I'm not saying crazier stuff, but
I think the crazier thing that he's done is go to NBA Finals and.
Well, I mean,
I think he's done bigger and better things than anime.
This will be a bigger challenge for him.
Yeah, embarrassing himself at Anime Expo.
Someone's got to do it, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. Speaking of sports and like nerd culture tie-ins, so last week, EGC was there, right? And then at the same time, there was Grand Prix Vegas, which is like a really, really, really big Magic tournament that goes on for several days, and it's in Vegas. And this year, one of the invited guests was the defensive end for the Seattle Seahawks. His name is Cassius Marsh.
I saw him. Or I saw pictures of him.
Yeah. And he's a cool guy. I actually played Magic with him the weekend before, I believe. Maybe it was 2 weekends before. And really cool guy, really fucking huge.
I didn't know he was serious about it. Like, there's some people who like casually, I casually dabble into it. But he's just like, no, like, I had like 9 decks stolen from me that like he asked for.
He had like $20,000 worth of cards.
He's like playing like Legacy Elves, or I'm just like, he's actually serious.
So here's the thing: is that like Cassius, because he has NFL money, he just buys whatever, right?
Yeah.
So he has like all the most expensive cards, blah 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 blah. But the reason why I bring him up and this whole thing about professional, sports athlete and nerd culture was Kotaku came out with this article about Cassius Marsh and basically told he wrote I can't think of the exact quote, but he said something along the lines of like Cassius Marsh fails to achieve the mental like gymnastics of playing Magic the Gathering. He like made it like the most condescending sort of article ever about Cassius Marsh competing at So I was like, oh my god, like, and here's the thing too is like people are like, oh, like, well, Kotaku's garbage, but it's like really I don't know why people blame Kotaku. It's the fucking author who wrote that shit. People should be blaming that guy. And like, I was just like, who hurt that guy? Who? Some jock in his high school must have like beat the shit out of him for playing Magic the Gathering or something. Because like, oh my god, like
I don't know what kind of mental gymnastics you gotta go through to write an article like that.
Yeah.
I just think if someone from the NBA like plays Magic, that's sick.
That's cool,
super
right?
cool.
Like,
yeah.
I just don't understand this whole thing, and so you know, it'd be funny because if Rick Fox did that, I'm sure there'd be people who are like, ugh, he went to an anime convention? They have those? That's disgusting.
And of course, there'll be thousands of other people who will be like, he went to an anime convention? What did he cosplay as?
Yeah,
what was his favorite
exactly.
one?
Did he cosplay as Aomine? Like,
Yeah. Like, oh my god. People would be like, what's his favorite anime? Dude, is it the same as what? Does he like the same people as I do? The same anime? That's my guy.
That's the thing, and like that's how people should react. But you know, sometimes you forget that there are people out there who like treat nerddom as like, great. You probably just killed 10 viewers.
I'm so sorry
from kicking the mic. I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Anyways, I just had to bring up that article because I was like, God damn it! Like, I don't understand why people see like nerdy things as like this protected zone, heaven, you know, with pearly white gates of like nerddom. Like, I don't understand that at all. Like, I don't care who's a nerd and who isn't, and who's a jock and who isn't. I don't know. Anyways,
coming from Supreme Nerd.
I know. From my side of things, like I'm. You guys know that I'm hella weeby and shit. So,
but here on the Greatest League Talkshow pre-show, we're just here to talk to you about what we want to talk about. So if people are curious about why we're not talking about League, I mean, League is anime, so we just that's our tangent. Boom.
Yeah, that's how I got my industry pass. Clearly,
that's the full circle right there.
All right, we wrapped it up. All right, what happened about in League of Legends this week? What, you guys won a game, Delta Fox.
Yes!
Congratulations.
Yeah. Okay.
You finally did it. It's like it's like the start of your, you know.
No, actually, it was so funny though. Like, if you see like the highlight clip, which by the way, on my YouTube right now, definitely not selling out. It's my video channel.
Sell out.
Yeah. Anyways, like the comms when we win are just like people are like, yeah. Like he just goes like ape shit. It's so funny. And honestly, like all the losses up until that point just made it feel better. Now, though, after that it sucked because we didn't actually win the series. But if we did, we would have just literally after the first game, Boy was like, "Do you think it's BM if I tweet the picture in between our games?" I'm like, dude, just wait. Like, what happens if we lose?
Oh my god.
And then like I was so hyped after the first game, I played Sejuani support with Smite because I forgot to switch off my summoner. And people were just like, what is he doing? Are they breaking the meta yet again? And I'm just like, and like I tried to get them to switch my summoner, so I sent them a screenshot of my camera when I recorded, because I record for my YouTube, right? And literally the picture is like 0-second timer. My mouse is over the Summoner Cell Smite, and my face is just like, like I'm just like horrified. And we sent it to Riot. Riot's just like, I'm sorry, it's not enough proof. And then we sent. I went
you
back.
You guys sent it as a bug report.
No, we sent it to like the main handler who does the match, and then we're like, okay, he needs more proof. So we sent him like a Gyazo gif of like the 5 seconds where it's done, and it's just so depressing because it's like at 0 seconds my mouse is over the summoner spell and my face is just like, oh.
How did your team react about it?
They're just like, whatever. We just spent 15 minutes trying to get Riot to remake it, and we're like, you know what, this is a waste of time. Let's just play it out. And we played it out, and then it turns out that like I didn't even really need Smite because we somehow won bot lane pressure and we're able to roam mid anyways. Or I didn't need Ignite.
We definitely need the Gyazo of that. We need that to be in public internet.
No, it's definitely somewhere. It was just actually just like mind-boggling because I can't believe I did that mistake. It's something that like very, very rarely happens. It's just like the combination of like the hype and like the super random like they like draft position we got put in where like I knew I wanted to play support in this position, specifically Sejuani support because I was really good with the comp. Yeah. And then I just forgot.
It's so funny too. talking about like mistakes that happen in scrims versus like in a live format. I remember having this conversation with Cop back when I was still working with Team Curse. And like, you know, you mess up in a scrim and like scrim ends and people are like in your face about shit. Like, how could you possibly do something like that dumb or whatever? But like when you're on LCS and you make it, you know, so Cop famously bought 2 IEs. And like, and he's like, oh shit guys, I bought 2 IEs. And the rest of the team's just like, it's okay. And like,
of course.
Like everyone in an LCS, like, you know, they're just, no matter what kind of mistake you do, it's always it's don't mind, it'll be fine.
Dude, are you serious? When Dyrus was 0-8 in my second game, he was like, dude, I'm sorry guys for dying so much. I'm like, dude, don't even worry about it, dude. Just keep farming. You're doing a great job. Literally, we said that the entire game. Like, that's it. Like, because when you're playing the game, like, all that matters is like you just try to win. That's it. Yelling at your teammate for doing badly, which, by the way, you should probably take this into ranked as well. Yelling at your teammate that they're doing badly isn't going to make them better.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do is be like, look, like, it's okay. We'll just try to win with the tools that we have.
Imagine if people were this positive in solo queue.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that never.
Legit, ever since I switched to playing jungle, I've, like, become, like, more frustrated. The first day I've ever ended my stream early was a couple days ago. I lost 4 games in a row after like coming off the NACS best of, and then so we lost that, and then we lost 4 games in a row where at 9 minutes the average score was 1-6. So, and I was just like, these are the worst games I've ever played. I just ended it like an hour early, and then like I never end my stream early. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm literally 9 losses in, but like I just couldn't handle it because like half the games people were just like, what's our jungler
Scarra's gonna descend into madness, and this is the birth of a new toxic jungler in Scarra.
No, it's so bad. Like, it definitely helps my mental training for sure. Like, nothing can go wrong. Literally, all my teammates can go 0-20 in like in ACS games. I'm just gonna be like, dude, don't worry about it, dude. Just keep up the good work. We're just gonna try to do something over here. That's seriously what happens.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine you. Have you ever like straight up flamed somebody? In any game, I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, definitely not in League actually, but when I was playing Han, like the culture was to flame people. Like, actually, like Han literally like flaming people was like funny, you know. But mainly it's because like when you get high elo, like you know everyone, so flaming them is just like humorous. Like they miss a skill shot, wow, you suck, you know. Yeah. Like I don't think I've ever been gone out of my way to be like, you're just terrible at the game. You should just go kill yourself and just like. Get a time machine, go back in time, make sure your parents abort you as well. Like, I have never, like, gone that far, but, like, yeah, I've been like...
No, that was pretty creative. I feel like that was, like, somewhere in your back pocket. I feel like you've said that to somebody.
I've, like, been like, oh, wow, like, this guy sucks, like, he's not very good, stuff like that, but...
Someone clip that and send it to Riot Support.
I've never been, like, maliciously toxic, like, hoping that they would just, like, end themselves. Even playing Han, I wasn't that way.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
But no, Han was like Han is such a bad game for that stuff. Like, it was okay, and like the developers said it was okay.
What do you think made that game more toxic? Or was it even
the player base?
Oh, just the player base.
Because the game itself was built upon the idea that it was made for people who were better than League of Legends. Like the elitist players of Dota moved to Heroes of New Earth because at the time only those 2 started out. Yeah. One was in beta and this one was also in beta, right?
Right.
But Heroes of New Earth was there for players who like were like, it was literally marketed as like a more mechanical game. Like, it was a game for better players. And so of course you breed the idea that it's like, oh dude, I'm not playing League. That's a children's game. Dude. I'm gonna go play Heroes of New Earth. I'm gonna smash these fools, you know. And then, of course, like when it gets to like really high elo, you have stuff like, so you could pause at any moment during the game. Like it's like
right. Dota is the same thing.
So like in Han, pauses are not used strategically. They're used to just BM. So I've literally every other game I've played in Han, especially at high elo, if you were with someone from what was the clan? I think this guy still plays Dota right now. Moon Meander. Anyone that was like associated with like them. And like I think Complexity at the time, literally pause the game off first blood, just drop G's straight down all chat. Like literally just like you have macros. So like 100%. Once you got the solo kill, you just hit him with the macro and then you just feel really good about yourself. Like no, straight up. Like that was actually just Han. Like actually.
Oh my god.
And a lot of people don't know who I'm talking about. So just search up like Moon Meander. This guy just like had like so many pop-off clips. Like literally he would like get like a huge play and it just like hit like a song and just like pop off. Like you literally turn off his song, turn on a song and just pop off.
Oh my god.
But like part of me like thinks that's hilarious. Like
I think it's so funny.
It's so funny because it's like I don't think he's doing it maliciously either. It's just like hilarious to do that to people that you know.
Yeah.
But like I can understand that like if it 9 high elo where you don't see the same 200 people every game.
Yeah.
Where it just be obnoxious, like super obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean can you imagine if people could pause in League like that? It'd be terrible.
It'd be so bad.
I'm actually surprised that that's still a thing in Dota. You can still pause like that.
the only time I've seen a Dota 2 pause was someone paused. Like I think I was watching an Eternal Envy clip. He paused and then he literally using voice comms told everyone on his team what to do in the team fight. He paused in the middle of a team fight and then microed his entire team. And he's like, okay, go. And he unpaused it. I was just like, holy shit.
Wait, what?
So, like, he's known as, like, the ultimate tryhard. And I think that's just actually sick. Like, the fact that he cares enough to pause in the middle of the team fight and do that stuff, dude, I can't imagine anyone doing that in League. Like, even if the pause function was allowed.
That was like the old school, like, who are, like, the bossiest players who, like, always micromanage their team? Was Chauster that way?
I think
famously
on the
Reaper was like
that.
that.
I heard Reaper was really much like that. Chaucer for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there was many people because like you had to have like somewhat of a brain back then.
Yeah.
And it was rare, you know, to have not only the ability like to be like a leader and have a brain.
Right.
Usually it's like one or the other. Actually, Reggie's a good example of that combination too.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something else.
Oh.
Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah, and High is a good example. High was like the third era.
Yeah.
Or like second.
Like a little more refined.
Yeah, exactly.
God. You know, it's so funny to like look back at season 1, season 2, you know, beta, that era of League, and like how incredibly backwards everything was back then. It's
so bad. And the worst thing is it's like no MOBA can come out where you can expect people to have the learning phase that League did. Because like I think for a lot of people, MOBAs weren't super big. Like Dota was played a lot, but it wasn't super big until
too niche.
Until League. Yeah. And then League came out, and League was a lot of people's very first MOBA game.
Yep.
And then but after a bit, everyone played League.
Right.
So the average player of people who play MOBAs is a lot higher.
Much higher, yeah.
So when
you can see that for like Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, that's a really good example where literally people on the Challenger ladder or Master ladder are just like, you know what? Peace, League. And they go over to HOTS and just
immediately
like
top 100.
Yeah, climb up the ladder like instantly. Yeah. And it's like the skills transfer and the developers in the game have to acknowledge that like they have a higher starting point than like other games did years ago.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting that that happened, because for sure, you know, people did play Dota All Stars and all that, but very, very niche, and even online gaming back then was like kind of just niche in general, right?
Oh, it's so funny. I still remember I used to play a lot of Dota.
Yeah.
But like the reason why I got so TDA used to be like the
What's TDA?
It's like a chat channel you join in Warcraft.
Oh,
and
okay.
It would be like the only way you could get like structured games that weren't like actual leagues. It'd be like you'd have to be good enough to like get, or like not good enough. You just have to get in, and it would be like it's not a system where there was so much of a ladder, but it would like ban people who were like AFK and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
I see.
prefer because the skill level was like slightly better. And then there was actual leagues like IXDC, something like that.
Okay.
That Kiwi played in that were like actually for like super good players, but I wasn't in that. I was in like this like in between like amateur league.
Yeah.
And I still remember like I just got banned on that league, and I got banned for like
Why'd you get
forever. And the reason why I got banned is because I played techies, and like my mom called me down to eat. So like I just suicide. I tried to kill myself and the other player 3 times.
Tried to kill yourself? Sorry. Yeah.
Like, because Techies has an ability that's just kamikazes. It does like an insane amount of damage. So I just tried that 3 times. Started 0-3 and I just AFK'd. And like it tells you why you're banned.
Right.
And so every time I checked on the channel, people were just like, Scarra's banned for this. I'm just like, whoops. Whoops.
Oh my god. And back then, I didn't even have like good enough internet to play internet games. Like, League of Legends is essentially my first like real online game.
Oh.
Yeah, because well, okay, maybe that's not true. Because I played back in the heyday of WoW. Like, my parents were like, "Fuck no, you're not," because you needed a credit card. I didn't have a credit card in high school, and so I'd go to my parents and be like, "Can I just borrow your credit card? I want to sign up for this game." And being Asian parents are like, "Fuck no. How dare you?"
Oh.
And so then, I played like a couple of free-to-play MMOs, but they were all
awful,
bad. Yeah, they were all bad. I played one called like Dungeons and Dragons Online for a while because.
Oh god, I actually played that.
Yeah,
like,
no,
a little bit.
It was pretty fun, and but I didn't get like super into it until like later on, and then that's when I discovered League. But yeah, I don't know. Like in general, internet gaming wasn't really a big part of my childhood. Like people played a ton of RuneScape, Ragnarok Online, MapleStory, all those ones.
I like grew up just playing games. We had one computer. Me and my brother would always fight over it.
Yeah.
So we played all the Blizzard games from Diablo 1 to like Warcraft 3, Diablo 2, World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft was like my thing. I don't even want to say I got addicted to it. Let's just say I lived it for like a period of time. And I had the same problem, right? So my parents wouldn't say I could pay for it.
Yeah.
So being the aspiring young entrepreneur I was, I just found a way to have one of my friends pay for it. Like, people in game, I could pay them gold to do it.
Oh, that's right.
Of course, I got scammed a couple of times.
Yeah.
So like I would have to like
it'd take a couple tries.
It'd take a couple of tries where I'd understand why people like have down payments.
Yeah.
Because when I first did it, I just got scammed. I was like, oh yeah, 3,000 gold for like 1,000 gold for this. Sure, do it. Wait, you took my gold.
Wait, I didn't get any time.
Where's the rest of my...
You message him back, hey, you didn't actually get back to me about my game time. Hello?
Yeah, no, no. Actually, I first learned scamming when it came to D2. Because they had the idea of body popping, which was if you die, if you PvP and you die, or like you just die anywhere, your body's there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, and you can loot it.
No.
Oh, wait.
So it's just on the floor, and then when you click it again, you get all your loot back. But if you pick up an item, it auto-equips your character, and if you die after you pick up the item, it pops your old body. You lose everything on your old body drops to the ground. So that was body popping in D2. So literally what you would do is you would PvP, you kill someone, and on top of their body, you drop the longest unique name thing, so that they would have a higher chance to click it when they're like, we're trying to click their body. And like, I didn't know what I was doing, right? So my friend let me try D2 for the first time, and I got his like level, like I got his like highest level character, Amazon, body popped. And he was so mad. He was furious with me. I was like,
oh my God.
I'm so sorry. I like begged the guy. I was like, please give me the items back. And he just left. I was like, what do I do? Oh God.
See, all these things I missed out on because like back in Minnesota, we just didn't have that sort of internet infrastructure, I guess. I don't know. Like, it was back in the days where like you couldn't call someone if someone was using the internet at the same time. Do you remember that shit?
Yeah, that was
awful.
That was terrible.
And so like, I didn't play any real internet games. The best I could do was like Neopets, and there's this really, I think the Flash game still exists. It's called Naruto Arena, and I played the shit out of that. And you like couldn't play, and my parents would try to call me at home, and I'd be on the internet, and I'd hear my garage door open from the living room, and my mom would storm in like, why the fuck were you on the in the internet? And I was like, fuck, how'd they find out? And then that's when I realized that you can't get calls when you're on the internet. And
oh my God, that's
it's the worst.
Thank God technology is now advanced to the point where we have great companies like Comcast, Time Warner, just covering
great
all of our internet
really
needs.
Forward thinking, like net neutrality.
Yeah, here in the great state of California, I'm just so happy to be covered by these companies.
Wait, I'm so surprised that people have heard of Naruto Arena. That's actually, Naruto Arena is how I learned Photoshop. and so that sounds weird, but it was this Flash game, and it was really fun. You could like select 3 different characters, you unlock them through missions and stuff like that. I recommend you guys try it. It's pretty fun. But they have really active forums, and on the forum side, this was before Reddit. Like subreddits like that didn't exist, and so people had forums and forum signatures and forum avatars.
Yeah, of course.
And so back when I was playing a lot of Naruto Arena, I would make we called them guilds. I'm pretty sure they were called guilds. And what would attract members is the idea that you would have like a graphics shop, a GFX shop. And so because I wanted to recruit for my guild, I learned GIMP, which is like the free version of Photoshop.
My God.
And then eventually I learned how to pirate software. I mean, not pirate software, and I definitely didn't take
acquire software legally.
Somehow, very, very legally. And then I created signatures for people to recruit them for my guild or whatever, and that's how I learned Photoshop. And that would be the start of my like long career in media, because that Photoshop led to video editing led to like using Premiere and Flash and stuff.
It all started with Naruto Arena.
And it all started with Naruto Arena. That's my story.
You made Forum 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's how everyone started learning
Photoshop. That's like literally the thing. So anyways.
You did the flame effect, and you're like, holy shit, I'm so cool. You looked that tutorial up on Adobe.
And, you would like look up like renders of characters that you liked, and like, oh my god, it was so fun. Anyways, that's my story.
That is
how'd I do? 30 minutes? All right.
The origins of Josh.
Yeah, that started my entire career. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for Naruto Arena.
And I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't get my friend's account Body Pop, and my brother's account actually. I was just a terrible friend.
I don't know.
Honestly, don't trust me with your account information. Wait, speaking about forums, dude, I was huge on one forum, the competitive like WoW forum.
Yeah.
Or no, not that. The competitive Arena forum. It's called Arena Junkies.
Yeah, Arena Junkies. I do remember that.
I literally played. I had one of the stickies for like all gem combinations and like all the stuff for a certain season, because I was like so into it. I was just like, I gotta math craft the best combinations possible, and people were just like, well, this is pretty good information, we'll sticky it for you.
It's crazy because back then, like games, people didn't find out information about games very quickly because there wasn't like a good resource, like centralized resource for all these things, and so like, oh my god, I'm so nostalgic about that.
Yeah, now I don't have a personal forum sig anymore.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Why don't you end every tweet you have with an image? That's like your forum sig.
Oh,
you want to bring that back, dude?
No, I think people would hate me.
I don't care. Someone make Scarra and I some forum sigs real quick, because we're gonna be doing this show, and then we'll just from now on.
Oh, that'd be so stupid.
Tweet a picture at the end.
No,
we're bringing it back, dude. This is gonna catch on. We're gonna set Twitter on fire. Twitter's gonna be like, this is a great idea. They're gonna hire us to do that as well. Like everyone's gonna have Twitter sigs.
I'm feeling bad when people are gonna be like, look at these two idiots trying to bring back forum sigs.
Dude, I had a sick one with a Bleach character on it. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
Well, when you talked about the flame, I was like, oh, I had that. Like,
yeah, everyone had it because it was the first fucking tutorial you learned on like AdobeTutorials.com or whatever. It's like how to make your text look like fire.
If someone wants to take the time to do this, I used to have an old photo bucket account that had all of the signatures that I ever made. So
what the?
Someone needs to go make Scarra and I'll do it at least for like 24 hours. I'll end every tweet with a forum sig.
Oh my god.
And you have to do at least 10 tweets during that period.
We'll see how many I do.
Like
but
one?
I'm definitely going to do like 3 for sure.
Oh my god. Alright. Anyways, welcome to Forum Stick Talk Show.
FST.
Greatest League Talk Show.
Greatest League Talk Show.
Where we talk and analyze competitive League of Legends, North American League of Legends.
And what a 2 days we have to cover for you today.
And honestly, a lot of the games were just really stompy.
Yeah, that's what I was joking. It's like, this is going to be a fast fucking day.
This is going to be just starting on Friday. Like, that day was like...
Friday was just
my god.
All right, we're done. And to be fair, I actually did not watch Friday that closely. Do you have good notes for Friday?
You don't need good notes for Friday, because I watched the Echo Fox. I watched both the games.
Well, yeah.
And I rewatched the games.
So the Echo Fox one was the closer one.
You thought that was
Wasn't it?
It was close up until like a monumentally stupid decision, and then
but that's what I mean. Like Echo Fox was in the lead.
Yeah. Like, they were behind, and then they got a lead, and then some bad stuff happened.
Yeah. Well, whereas on the other hand, when CLG was in the lead versus Immortals, it was for like 10 minutes and not that substantial.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump straight into Friday. So we're gonna cover 6 best of 3s, but all of Friday's games and all of Saturday's games, starting with Immortals versus CLG.
Do you want to put out like a QA thing? Because I feel like we should say we're going to do questions and answers because this is going to be a fast day.
Oh, okay. Well, you sure? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a fast day.
All right.
Anyways, tweet at Greatest League T with some questions over the course of the show. Anything we talk about that you want further depth, more clarification, anything like that, tweet at that, and then we'll go over them at the end of the day. Just because, like I said, this is probably gonna be a fast day, so we're fine taking some questions.
This is gonna be a pretty quick hit. The last series, holy shit! Some of the Friday series, oh my god, just very, very one-sided, so to speak.
Yes. So we're kicking things off. First series of the weekend: Immortals versus CLG.
This game
is 2-0 in favor of Immortals. After CLG talked some shit heading into the tournament match.
Okay, so let me preface this by saying I don't really like the idea of people playing Kha'Zix if you don't have a competent front line. Because once you start getting past like even the 15-minute mark with Kha'Zix, you can't team fight at all. Like if your front line is Kench, and it's a front line that can't set up, it's only like a defensive front line that has utility, but only to like escape their initiation, Kha'Zix has nothing going for it. And so just in general, I hate Kha'Zix when played with absolutely no bodies to help start a fight and then have him come in afterwards.
Yeah, even if the early game is good for him, like you have some gank set up or something, and he can maybe snowball off some skirmishes, like come mid-game, he does need something to get him going. Even like a Shen is like all you need potentially. Just so he can jump in and get an ult.
Yeah, generally, what I thought about the series is that Immortals actually played the series really well. Like, I thought in terms of macro decisions, they made it correct. One of the biggest things is that they had really solid vision control, especially the second game that I noticed, which it was just like their jungle support would just walk in areas, get full vision control, and then CLG would have a comp with no front line and the Kench walk in and get picked 2 times.
Dardoch went Red Smite one of these games, I think.
I think the second game he played Rek'Sai, he went Blue Smite.
Oh, the Blue
Smite.
And
that was, on Twitter, he's like, that's the last
game
I'm playing without Green Smite. So
that's part of the reason the vision control was so easy for Immortals. Is like, we only have to sweep half as many wards now, basically.
Exactly. And that's why everyone runs Green Smite if you're a jungler and competitive, for the most part. Unless your name's Shrimp.
And, I mean, Danny tried it once.
Okay.
In our series.
Yeah. I said competitive.
Oh, yeah, okay. Jeez. Go easy on yourself there, dude.
Come on, dude.
But yeah, so the first game was the one that was... Is Stompy the right word for it?
I wouldn't say...
It was kind of just like they choked the life out of him, you know? It wasn't like explosive, you're dead.
And a lot of it was just that Afro just got picked in a bunch of areas, and that's because he's the only frontline, and when he waddles up as Kench... Like, even if the Kha'Zix is there, if they initiate on them, what's going to happen? They're just going to die, actually.
Yeah.
Like, one of the biggest things I've noticed about CLG is actually that, unlike before, where, like, Smithy and Afro work really well together, Dardoch and Afro do not work that well together right now.
So, I was on the analyst desk today, and one of my points was, like, you never think of Dardoch and X, right? Like, you never think of Dardoch and Matt, or Dardoch and Ole, or, like, I think the second series they played this week on the Saturday games.
I think Dardoch and Chilling Smite.
Yeah, I think of Dardoch and, like, oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think in the second series, the one against P1, I think it was a little bit better between him and Afro, but I don't think Dardoch's, like, the guy that you think of, like, mid or jungle support, you know, synergy. It's not like Dandy and Mata level.
Yeah, not even close. In fact, I would say they're probably one of the worst synergies of any of the top teams in LCS right now.
Just in terms of, like, individual skill as well. Like, they're two of the better, you know, individual players at their roles, but they don't...
Yeah, they don't work that well. And this is something that, like, CLG is going to have to work on moving forward, because this is a big way of how they get, like, kind of beat down.
Yeah.
Was it this game where the enemy team had a better... no, it wasn't. Was it the second game? Usually what happens is, like, this is especially obvious where if CLG drafts a duo that's weaker than the enemy's jungle support, they can't do anything. They just die. Like, they just walk in and die. So good examples are, like, any comps with Braum, where it's like very dangerous for them to walk in it. Even they almost always have the inferior 2v2, and it's something that's really important. If you have a 2v2 jungle support that's better than the enemy ones, you two can walk into jungle at any point. But if you don't, then you can't do anything. And this is something that I've learned distinctively while playing recently, because we just get abused if the other team has Braum, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's cool. Danny walking with me, and then when I say that, like, we just die. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you take a Braum Q.
Yeah, and then we both die. I'm like, okay, we can't do that. We need Void, pretty much.
So the second one, game 2. Was there anything else you wanted in game 1? It felt like really controlled.
Game 1 was pretty controlled. They tried to split push, but then Galio stopped all their split push possibilities, and then game 1's over. No, I think we can go straight to game 2.
Game 2 was the one where Immortals actually fell a little bit behind. I think, if I remember correctly, Dardoch had a decent early game. He had, like, I think a gank on the top side and one on the bottom as well.
Dardoch when playing Rek'Sai, every single Rek'Sai game has done XP Quint, Raptors red, one of the 2 scuttles, and it hits one of the 3 lanes.
Well, so what the preferred reason that you do this is because you can gap close that fat wall that is on the the back tri-bush side. So if you go up the blue buff ramp and you wrap around, a lot of gap closers can't get over that.
Right.
Or if they do that, they lost some of their damage. Like a Jarvan, if he EQs over there, no CC. Rek'Sai is one of the only ones who can get over that wall and still have full gank pressure.
And even on the bot lane, he has like Rek'Sai has some of the most unique gank paths available of any champion. And this on top of the fact that he can do this one thing where he can get using XP Quints level 3 at 235, 240 means that he's extremely destructive at that point.
Yeah, so if you're against a Rek'Sai, find him level 1, click his stats, see what his MR is or whatever, and then clench your butthole.
You really, yeah, what happens is, the only way to figure out this is actually happening is you just need to figure out what his attack speed is at level 1. Because they run 1 XP Quint, so you need to know the difference between 1 XP Quint and 2.
Did you know that intentionally misusing a gender pronoun in Canada is now, like, if you're using it derogatorily, is in the same status as a hate crime?
I saw that.
Which, I don't want to derail it, but it's just funny because I said she, or I said he instead of she. And I'm not doing it on purpose.
I say this all the time. I say this all the time about Rek'Sai. Like, honestly, like, it's because I value a person above just his gender.
Her gender.
Her gender.
You know what the real problem is? Like, Rek'Sai has nothing about it that makes you think it's a girl or a guy. It's just like a void monster.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no clear vagina or boobs, and that's the only way I process female.
I'm not going to say it like that. I value both sexes. This guy.
Yeah, me too. That's
completely
that's how I see.
Put stuff in my mouth that I did not want to say.
Yeah. Anyways, Dardoch does well on her.
Yes.
In game 2 of the Immortals series. But despite that, I think they got like a 1 to 2k gold lead, and Immortals like comes back in the game very quickly.
Oh, the biggest thing about the series is that CLG just lane swaps and fails. So both the games.
Well, so it wasn't. Was it that they failed in the second game, or Immortals just did it first?
No, they initiated. No, well, actually, Immortals did initiate the second game.
Yeah,
they initiated the first game and they failed, and in the second game they failed to like be able to recover from it. And so whatever happened, that's something they need to work on as well. Like right now, a very very big thing is once a 9-minute mark hits, which is at your first or second back timing for the bot lane, you can at any point swap top lane, which by the way, very effective against Shen because you don't want to just push into his lane. His ulti doesn't do anything if you're in his lane.
Yeah.
And take the enemy top lane tower. And CLG failed to do that. Taking a first tower both games this series.
And the second game, the reason it was important was because they actually had leads. So like if they could have snowballed better through that, but Immortals hangs in it with that.
They were 7-2. And they were behind in gold, which is very, very rare, actually, for a team. It means the other team got so much in terms of CS and objective gold that they are just ahead, even though they're down, potentially 2,000 gold from kills. 1,500 gold from kills.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big problem is because eventually, like, if you lose a fight, all those shutdowns come back in. So with how League works, if you're able to be even in gold, but like behind by most like metrics, you're usually in a really good spot. So if you're even in gold but down in turrets, that means if you win a fight, like you come flying back into the game because you grab like 2 turrets. Similarly, if you're even in gold but down kills and you win a fight, like they get a bunch of shutdowns and stuff.
Generally, what I thought about this game was that CLG just didn't perform their win condition correctly, which is 1-3-1-8. So they would get like kind of dragged into fights they didn't want to, or they would just like be in positions where they tried to clean up. And one of the big cleanups was in mid lane, where like Darshan came in from the top and Ari came from the side, and Darshan wasn't able to get anything, chasing 4 people really low health, and in fact, I think him or the jungler died. They traded like it was a really bad 3-for-1 trade, something like that, and that's kind of what pushed them back, Immortals back into the game. And once they weren't able to get any kind of split going with Fiora, the game kind of just devolved into, the other team has a really good team fight comp.
And that's one of the things that Darshan actually talked about in his interview today after his series, where he was asked about like, what went wrong in the Immortals one. He's like, we just don't play split pushing that well right now, which is something that they're usually known for. But like Darshan always collapses, and like sometimes it's great. Like if he's on a bruiser or a tank, the collapse he gets good angles and it's awesome. But like if you're on a Fiora, it's just like, you don't need to do that. You can go stay in your lane, keep split pushing, and wait till they force onto you. And
that's so weird because in earlier iterations of CLG was known as the best split pushing team in North America.
Yeah, it feels like, Darshan is really good at like the collapse right now. And for some reason, either he decides he needs to keep going, or the team keeps asking him to collapse when they really need to focus on wave clear.
And maybe it was like they needed a more control variant of jungler, and it's hard to like just put Dark in the team and have everything function the same as it was before. But their split pushing is kind of ass right now.
Yeah, and it's not a mechanical thing. It's like a decision making thing.
And when you've literally won like multiple splits off the fact that you're very good at performing in 4-1 and 1-3-1 situations, not being able to do that is a huge problem for CLG.
Yeah, but that said, you would think that they should fix it just because like Darshan used to be like one of the OG split push, I'm not teleporting, go fuck yourself top laners. So you expect him to be able to get back into that mindset a little bit more if Fiora keeps being meta and Jace and all these things.
But let's not keep talking about CLG. What stood out from Immortals for you from this series?
Immortals is kind of weird where like it feels like a lot of them are just like underrated. Maybe not anymore after this one, but like
they're first in the league, man.
Yeah, well, I meant like individually. Like Pobelter had a really bad last split. Flame had a bad last split. Cody and Oli were probably the only two who got any hype last split.
But I mean, I can understand why they were underrated when Flame literally comes in as like you weren't even ready in top 6 top laners. Now I think statistically he's the best top laner in the league.
It's really close between. Well, so Haunter has like a huge lead in CSD. But then it's between Flame and Someday for basically everything else.
Yeah, like Flame is having essentially like his recovery split.
Yeah, this is like the best he's looked since season 3 Flame.
And once we get to the games today, like we will.
Yeah, the games today are the ones where you're like, oh my god, Flame. But outside of Flame, even like Pobelter had a really bad split last split. Xmithy had a bad split on CLG last split. His early game was still good, but he just like did a lot of stuff where he got his team killed or he followed up on his team and died. And then, the big change that people don't talk enough about, that people are starting to talk more about now, is just like Song coming in and coaching, as opposed to Hermes last split. It's one of those things where like you mix up one or two things and suddenly the team clicks. It's like hard to truly. Even Pobelter in his interview today was like, I don't know who to give credit to. Really, we're just good now.
And honestly, even if he doesn't know, it's great for them. They're first in the league. They're doing everything right, or doing a lot of things right, not everything right.
A lot of things. Enough to be the potential best team in the league. Don't want to spoil our power rankings for tomorrow.
Correct. Especially because, who knows, man, maybe Team Liquid could win tomorrow, really upset the rank 1.
Wait, that means they would beat P1. The 9th team lost to the 10th place team?
You're ruining my hype, dude. Come on.
Sorry, we've got to get hype for the LCS. All right, ready to move on to the next series?
Yep.
Echo Fox versus Envy. P1? P1, there we go.
So, this series was a 2-0 for P1. This is P1's first win of the entire split. And
Mike Young!
It comes off the back of Mike Young, the new rookie jungler, but really disappointing performance from Echo Fox as well. I guess one of the biggest things is like, yes, Mike Young is playing really well for rookie, and he is the only rookie, so he's the obvious rookie of the split so far.
It's so sad.
Yeah, but I think he's getting that in situations where the other jungler is underperforming. Like in this game, I thought like ᵐᵉ played really bad this series.
It feels kind of like that. The other thing that helped out too was Arrow got Jhin, and Jin's strong now after the buffs apparently.
Yeah.
He's being picked a lot, and it's like, wait, you mean Arrow's best champion is meta again now, and he has an early game jungler to pull pressure off of him, so it's not just like the shit on Arrow game party. And he hulked out really hard. I think game 1 got like 10 kills or something, right?
Actually, yes, this is a 980 Jhin game.
Yeah, with a triple infernal.
But this is a game. Okay, so we'll just talk straight the game 1.
Yeah, sure.
I got so mad about this game because
it's the Echo Fox.
Because you're thinking about this and you're just like, is Nidalee even a good pick? And the answer is just no. You're playing Nidalee in a matchup where you know your mid laner is playing against one of the best laning mid laners in the game. He's playing LeBlanc, and they have Lee Sin and I'm pretty sure they had Shen. So they had Shen, Lee, LeBlanc, and LeBlanc is going to get priority. Like whatever happens, going to get pressure on mid lane. So you as a Nidalee you're going to be afraid for your life. Like when Lee is 6, Shen is 6, and LeBlanc has pressure in your lane, you will die. You should die or get pressured at one of your buffs. But that never happened. And the thing is, it's like the game went exactly like I expected. Froggen, well, what's he been doing all split?
Destroying people with LeBlanc.
Yeah, no, he's been destroying people in lane, period.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's like, in terms of like, most dominant, they showed that graph today. Most dominant CS lead at 15, it was like, it's current Jensen in this split, then last year's Huni, and then like this year's Froggen. So literally 2 people in the same split are getting like,
all-time records.
Yeah, and that's insane. So what happened this game? Oh, Froggen has a 13 CS lead at 4 minutes. Well, Froggen has a 35 CS lead at 8 minutes. And during this entire time, it's like, sure, ᵐᵉ converts 1 kill. But then he gets caught up mid lane. And it feels like once he got caught mid lane by the bot lane rotating, he made no aggressive plays with his jungler or mid lane. They had no coordination together to be able to keep down the Nidalee. And the Nidalee eventually just outpaces every jungler because she farms really, 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 really well.
And, I mean, you should have a worse team fight with Nidalee, generally speaking, but that's not like necessarily one of Echo Fox's strengths is like mid to late game team fighting. So you're not even like necessarily punished for that part of the pick.
And Echo Fox's comp is bad at team fighting. They have like Lee Sin, LeBlanc. Like if you're picking a LeBlanc comp, you know your team fighting is going to be.
What was their bot lane again?
Oh, that's
it was something. It was like a utility, right? It was like Varus.
I don't actually have the exact picks written down. That's the problem.
I think it was Varus. Whatever.
It's something where, regardless what the AD pick was, you're not going to ever get a good teamfight comp with LeBlanc. LeBlanc is there to get picks or threaten backline during teamfights, so you split up the teamfight, and it's not like a very standard front to back.
The most use you'll find out of a LeBlanc is in a teamfight is when it's like a 4-1 comp, actually, and like the 4-man core does stuff, and LeBlanc just like plays the outside of the fight, trying to pick off anyone that she like that straggles out there.
And the worst...
And that's still not great.
Yeah, and the worst thing is it's like...
Xayah. Rakan.
They have no way to follow up Xayah Rakan in the first place, right? Like, there's no follow up. Like, what Rakan hits a great ulti. What's gonna happen? Oh, LeBlanc.
Shen flash taunt because he's already grouped up. Duh.
Yeah, it's like they have no big burst to be able to follow up like the big initiation play. And I didn't really like their team comp aside. I just think they had one way to win the game, which was take the LeBlanc. If you're ahead as LeBlanc with TP, pressure everything else, and they did not accomplish that at all. And I put it like, especially like, I think it's strictly targeted to their jungle mid. Should have been able to play off the mid lane pressure and been able to invade the Nidalee more. The fact that Nidalee got out of the early mid lane phase ahead and comfortable in this game, just like that's a crime, dude. I felt really bad looking at this game, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from that,
do you want to talk about anything else in this game? Because
no. P1 50-50 is a Baron when they lose to Acadian, and then there's a chance that Echo Fox comes back, and then they just lose because the enemy's team fight comp is just like 12 times better.
Yeah, and they get triple Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, so Jhin had...
So just in case it wasn't enough.
Jhin had 980 at 6 items with Elder and Baron. Then the game's over.
It wasn't even 6 items. It was like 4. I think it was like, well, because the boots plus I think like 4 items.
Oh, yeah, so he was at 5 items.
Yeah. The funny thing was he had 78 AP. With no AP items or runes or masteries, it was just like, here's the Baron AP, and then here's Infernal.
With Elder.
Yeah, it's just like, okay. So anyways, that was a horrible game out of Echo Fox.
They didn't play their one game at all, which is okay. So they had a bad game. Every team in the league has had bad games. It's whatever. Going to the second game, and this is a game where first game Keith got made fun of because he flashed in with Xayah, and then like tried to clean up a fight, and then just gets horrifically turned on, and then everyone dies. And it was like a really like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that kind of play.
Game over.
Yeah. So then the second game. The game where I was just like, wow, dude, Keith actually plays this game really well. Like, let me preface this by saying, like, this is a game where Echo Fox falls behind early, and the game just gets dragged out. And a lot of it is off the back of Keith gaining a CS lead off pressure, and then maintaining the CS lead and maintaining pressure by like constantly walking up and harassing towers, keeping people and generally the team like at a very even length up until Trist gets 2 to 3 items, and all of a sudden Trist is manhandling the game. Like, you're just like, oh, Keith is gonna pop off. He's doing so good. He's playing so well, and Echo Fox does the dumbest Baron of their lives, and they lose.
Yeah, I mean they've had a lot of dumb Barons. That might be an exaggeration. This is the dumbest Baron of anyone else's life. The average Baron for Echo Fox recently.
It's like a situation where, like, even conceptually, like they start the Baron, and immediately when the Baron loses 1,000 health, they get blue tricketed, and it's like, okay, they're coming, but okay, they want to keep finishing. That's okay. Froggen's Talia wall.
It doesn't even cut off the choke.
Yeah,
that was the saddest thing.
It cuts off half, like one half, and then the people in the choke, which is the most important people, the jungler and
the Cassio,
it's the mid laner.
Yeah, the Cassio
comes up. And because the Cassio is able to walk in, Keith gets zoned from doing damage to the Baron. So literally, like, already in this position, they lost. It's impossible to win. And then they keep brute forcing it, and they just they just lose the Baron, get like 3 deaths, and the game's over.
It was so bad looking at everybody.
And this is only a play you do if you're worried that like you have to make this play because they outscale you, or like it's a very, very like,
or like they're on the wrong side of the map. There's reasons to make it.
Yeah, it's a timing based thing, but up until that point, they've done an excellent job of crawling back their deficit with Keith. Keith's at 3 items with Trist. He's gonna take over this game, like, no question. This guy is gonna monster this game, and they go for like a ultra risky play.
Yeah, and it was just so sad because it's like really not that difficult of a play to play good enough that it works out. Because if the Talia ult goes down and cuts off the ramp, and
only Nidalee comes over.
Only Nidalee comes over, and you have to worry about the steal a little bit. But Froggen can also take it in, and then he can jump off on the correct side and help melt Baron. But because he just shoots it and doesn't take it, he actually has to walk all the way around. So he's doing nothing this entire time. Yeah, he zones himself. It was just like so tragic.
It was a situation where it was just terrible. Like, I watched this game, and I'm just like, all right,
it's over.
Yeah, they got 2-0.
And they got 2-0. And we're on to Saturday's games.
That's a good transition. I like it.
Yeah, nailed that transition. So first up on today's docket, CLG versus Envy. 3-game series, mostly off the back of Dardoch. Feeding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I would agree, but in some of the games I wouldn't necessarily.
When I say it went to 3 games and CLG won, that entire sentence is because of Dardoch.
Yeah.
The going to 3 games was his fault, and winning the series was kind of his.
Yeah, the third game he just went ape shit.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a good series generally good series from Lyra. Just played really well in terms of like pathing, in terms of like early game. I thought most of the games, except for the last game where he just got smashed by, where Dardoch just had super high pressure. The first 2 games he played pretty well.
So you want to get right into the first game?
Yeah.
So first game starts out. It's a pretty even game, and then Dardoch goes for a Krug invade. He gets spotted out by a level 5 Shen. He gets autoed by the level 5 Shen, and he autos the Krugs because he wants to finish them, and he tries to flash the wall and dies. Well, he successfully flashes the wall, but
dies.
Yeah. And that's like, wait, I'm J4. Why did you just give Shen a kill? And like a matchup that's not bad for Shen normally. It's like, okay.
And it's like one of the ways they lose the game is if Shen is able to handle J4 because he has global pressure. So
exactly.
He like almost like with that play itself, I would have been so mad as the bot laner. The bot lane, the mid lane, because especially the bot lane.
I'd be mad as like Darshan too, because you're just like, shit, I can't even like pressure him.
Yeah, that's true. Like he just kind of ruined a lot of their early game plan just by that one death.
Yeah. And then that said, Darshan instantly is like, no. We're not going to lose the game because of this. I got you. So what happens is at level 6, there's a jungle mid skirmish in mid lane, and Darshan is like already in the river getting Scuttle Crab or Vision or something. So when it breaks out, he runs down. Shen ults in. Darshan shows up and turns the whole fight for his team. Oh my god, what a genius!
And Kench was also there to save
Darshan.
Yeah, Darshan.
Afro roamed as well. So it was like a super good team play. They get some of 3-for-1. And then what they instantly transition it with is ᵐᵉᵐᵉ teleports back top with his teleport after ulting mid. So he no longer has a teleport, and Darshan runs back top after winning the skirmish, or resets and goes top. So then, like 2 minutes later, they make a teleport play down the bot side of the map, get 2 more kills and first turret. So Darshan gets like 5 kills for his team out of nowhere.
Yeah, and this game's just over. And the funniest thing is the play that started it all out. The 2v2 skirmish mid lane, 100% lost.
Oh, for CLG,
like,
yeah.
Dark died like that. It was like the first 2 seconds of the fight, he's already dead. And luckily, because both Afro and the top laner were there, they were able to clean up the skirmish 3-for-1.
And this is like the exact kind of play where we're like, that they do like throughout the entire game. That's like, okay, that's awesome, Darshan. Just stop doing that on Fiora. Leave that for like the J4, the Galio, the Gragas, like whatever. And
of course, this is like a Hui Soul game.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that.
He only gets 1 of these a series usually. It's not even banned.
He could have got 2 this time.
Yeah, it's not even banned, but it's such a pressure pick because the enemy knows he always has it, and even if it's up, it's not always picked. But when he does play it, does he lose? Like I don't even.
So I heard his all-time win rate on it is 9-4, which is not as good as you would think.
But a lot of those are losses to Faker.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that includes the MSI.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is just in North America.
I want to say I do not remember a game that he's lost on it. I think he's lost 1 game.
I would need to check. But either way, it's nasty, and people are always like, how come you don't ban it? It's because, like, well, they didn't ban it in game 2, and they didn't pick it. So it's kind of like, the reason it's so effective is because most of the time you don't ban it, and then CLG only picks it when they really want it.
And the thing is, I looked at this game, and I was like, CLG did a great job, actually, at being able to disengage after the enemy team used cooldowns.
Well, that's the big thing, is like he so perfectly positions with it. There was like 1 skirmish around mid lane that like as CLG took the mid turret, grouped up as 5, the enemy team tries to come in, and he just like makes you have to constantly run through his W.
But there's other situations like top lane this game where like he's pushing forward and the enemy Varus gets like Shen ult, and then like and he uses like heal, and immediately like he backs off.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, usually CLG, like, a lot of the problems last play was that they overextended way too hard for stuff. This is a good game that they executed good control throughout the game to where the point where you kind of just knew they would win because they weren't overextending much at all.
And the play that really won them the game after this, I mean, I think the Darshan play really won them the game.
Yeah.
But what actually sealed the game out was like 21 minutes in, they picked Lear and they just rushed Baron, which I thought was like, oh my god, you're just going to rush Baron with Jhin, Aurelion Sol, Rek'Sai? That seems kind of slow.
They had double mountain.
But they had double mountain, and I mean, honestly, with Warrior Rek'Sai and those plus Jarvan, like, you could do enough damage.
With double mountain, you can pretty much rush Baron with like any kind of comp in the game because it just makes your Baron insanely fast.
Right, so they get Baron, they get a big lead. It takes a little bit of time for the game to actually end. They have to force another Baron, which Envy fight and lose 4-for-1. And then that's basically it for game 1. So moving on to game 2, the Envy win. So what was interesting to me this time around was Aurelion Sol was left up, and they go for Vladimir into Syndra instead. And I can kind of see why, because they're playing Renekton top, I guess, into Shen, and they don't think it's a snowball or something.
This is obviously a specific pick they've been preparing. And this is something that people were doing into Syndra before when Vlad was really strong.
Yeah.
And so, because the third game they picked the exact same matchup.
Well, but the third game they banned Aurelion Sol. So I'm not sure if CLG would have stayed with the Vlad.
That's true, but they were comfortable enough to still default to it, even after the second game where they didn't do that well.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the game that really just cements to me that when another team has a better jungle support duo and they control like areas, CLG can't do anything. They struggle a lot. Braum is like the biggest thing about this, where if it's even or they're slightly behind, Braum just like wins all the 2v2s, or like and with the jungle or like the duo lane. And so I just felt like the strength of Braum made this crazy.
Well, what was surprising was the fact that Envy was actually just smashing them bot lane too, with Ashe Braum versus Kate Morg, which sounds pretty heavily in CLG's favor with Kate Morg, and they still lost 2v2 and were chunked out by like level 3. And eventually they tried to swap their bot lane up to the top side, and Envy was up there.
You want to talk about Apollo? He's a monster.
Yeah, dude, Apollo is legitimately like top 3, maybe even higher AD carries in the league right now.
Especially watch this. If you're curious about Apollo, you're just like, no, dude, this guy's just a nice guy, but like his mechanics aren't that great, and like maybe he's whatever. Watch how he plays this game. Like there are 2 separate situations. A big fight top lane where Hui flanks him, with him and Hakuo literally just like win the team fight with Shen ulti by themselves. And the same position happened bot lane where he gets initiated on again, and yet again his Ashe and Hakuo are just able to 2v5, and it's nuts. Like he played this game out really, really well. Essentially, they got a huge lead and they were never able to come back.
And one thing worth noting for this series that we forgot to mention was that Niski was in for Pyrian on the side of Envy. So this was our first look at who Envy wanted to be their mid laner this whole time.
This was the worst team to ever put in him, or ever put in a new mid laner into the league, because CLG is a team that will multi-man your mid laner. Actually.
Yeah, so this was just a weird series because the game 1 is Cassio versus Aurelion Sol. It's kind of like a farm out matchup for Cassio for the most part, unless you get a lot of gank help, which is still kind of sketchy. And then game 2 and 3, you play Syndra into Vlad, which is just like, if I stay ahead of you, I can control the lane, and if I fall behind you, I'm just going to get dove.
And a lot of the games, he literally got 3 man. Like
well, yes,
4 man.
Especially game 3 was just like, ooh, that's... See you tomorrow.
Like, welcome to the league, dude.
Yeah. So anyways, game 2... Other than like that Envy collapse, was that the one you were talking about? On the top side, it's like 21 minutes.
Where Hui was in the bush.
Yeah, and they collapsed right onto him.
Yeah, and then they weren't able to get the kill because Hakuo and Apollo played it really well with Shen ulti.
Yep, and they get a 3-for-1 in Baron with that play, and then from that, it's just like Envy getting picks all over the map and snowballing with their lead.
Yeah, it's game over. I think it's really hard because they can't do anything in terms of getting control. Like getting control of the river is like the most important thing to be able to put your pressure onto the other side of the map, and they can't even gain control of the river. The one time Darlac tried, like I think bot side river, he just got caught by Lyra and died. So it's really hard for them to get control, especially when the support jungler is stronger. And this is another game that I was just like, oh, it happened like kind of again. It's just something CLG like kind of probably knows they're probably working on.
Yeah. Which brings us to game 3, which is like the Dardoch redemption game where he just goes the fuck off and hard carries the game at like 2 minutes.
You're watching this as, he did the XP Quint thing. He's mid lane at 245. Goodbye.
And especially the matchup that it is. Like we were saying, Vlad versus Syndra. If the Vlad ever gets ahead of the Syndra, you just lifesteal tanker damage and you dive her with Proto Belt, and it gets super brutal.
So of the first 5 kills, he was a part of all 5. I think he was 302 at the time.
Yeah,
so
it was only 10 minutes into the game too. It was 5 fast ones.
So legit, this guy just hard carries. This is probably the game that you most were reminded of last season's Dardoch. Yeah. Where it was like, this is the guy who just 1v5s the game if he gets ahead.
I think did he get all 3 lanes, or was it just bot and mid? Because he went bot after at like 7 minutes.
He did 830 bot lane. He did level 3 mid lane, and he did.
Maybe it was later. I guess 17 minutes.
He did another kill mid lane with like multiple people, and then they got the tier 1 tower mid, and then the tower's top. So,
well, that was.
But that wasn't him, I don't think.
Well, what was weird with that sequence is they just traded a ton of turrets.
Yeah, and the trades were so bad.
Well, so what happened was CLG goes top, Envy stays bottom, they trade turrets, and then Envy goes for Dragon, and then CLG recalls and goes back bottom, and then after they see that, Envy's like, oh, let's not recall, let's go back and sneak into the bot lane, and I think Hakuo hits like a nasty hook, and like, or a flash hook or something like that, and brings them back in. Or was it Braum? What did he do? I'm thinking the right play, right? This was like the turret trade?
He was...
And they get a 2-for-0 on the bot lane?
Yeah, he was Braum. They got 2-for-0. Or he got like... It's like a 1 or 2-for-0, but COG just ends up getting a lot of towers. Like, they got mid tower and top lane tier 2 tower. So I think it was they killed the top laner.
Yo, was it just the top laner? Because CLG had recalled and Dardoch... No, because Dardoch stayed top with Darshan, and they dropped the Rift Herald up there, right?
And the Rift Herald kills the second
turret. So they trade turrets evenly.
This is right after.
Yeah.
When they stayed. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did stay, and then they get the comeback. All right. I was messing up the time frame a little bit.
Yeah.
But this looked really good for CLG, and then that play happened, which maybe could allow Envy to come back a little bit, but
then the mid lane play happened.
Yeah. Honestly, this was like a pretty big stomp, to be honest.
Yep. So they eventually just get a bunch of kills, especially at 23 minutes. They pick 2 guys off. They go for Baron, and then it's over.
Because one of the times where COG started splitting, Envy just goes for inhib tower bot lane, and then COG backs, it gets the TP, and collapses and just gets 2 kills for free.
Yeah.
And then they control Baron side, get 3 kills, get Baron, game's over.
So there you go. CLG win that series in 3 games. It was the only... No, wait, there's a 3-game series. I always forget this Immortals Dig series is 3 games. Every time I thought about it, it's like, it's a 2-game series.
It felt like less than 2.
Right?
Like, I didn't even get to see...
It was like 1.5.
I didn't get to see anything from...
Game 1, you're like, all right, Dig, I can see how you can win games, yeah. And then game 2 and 3, you're like, you never...
Yeah. The other team took off the weights after that first
Yeah.
game. Oh, wait, okay.
Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we have to talk about the TSM FlyQuest series.
Do we?
I don't know. It feels like a lot of these other series, there's not much to talk about. So TSM FlyQuest, well, let's just gloss over it real quick. It's a 2-0 for TSM. FlyQuest looked like potentially the worst team in the league. It's a really tight battle down there between them and Team Liquid for who's the worst team now. That P1 has found how to win games with Mike Young.
Yep. Let me just talk a little bit about the first game. So I had a couple problems in this game. First of all, I don't like the fact that Corki didn't take exhaust. So when you're playing Syndra, if you don't have the exhaust, you can never Valk into this comp. So you literally have to play exclusively a poke style. There's a reason where almost every Corki mid lane just takes exhaust to be able to take aggressive trades and position aggressively during team fights. There's a bunch of times where if you see how he hovers. Especially, the game, which I consider to be a game-changing turn. I thought FlyQuest actually had a comp where they could deal with TSMs. All they need to do is Corki needs to hit 2 or 3 items. 2 items is what I was looking at. And what ends up happening, they collapse in the Syndra bot lane, naked Syndra, and they collapse with, I think it was Rumble and High.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening, okay, well, High doesn't want to walk up because he doesn't have exhaust, so he can get 1 hit. So Syndra gets the Shen ulti, and then TSM turns the fight 4-for-1.
4-for-1 and get first turret.
Yep. So that was nail in the coffin because I just don't think FlyQuest is a good enough team to recover once they give TSM potentially top 2 team a big lead like that.
FlyQuest is the kind of team that plays super, super scrappy, and if they have a lead, they keep playing the scrappy style and the lead grows. And if they're playing the scrappy style from behind, the lead grows, but it's just for the other team because now they're in the lead.
And the funny thing is, their way back into the game was, let's do the exact same play bot, but top. And they try to get Syndra on the split push again with balls and High. Wait, he doesn't have exhaust. They can't. It's really hard to pressure up Shen ultis. They die to get Baron. TSM wins the first game.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was after they forced the Baron too, they got more kills after because FlyQuest tried to contest it. And both these games were super aggro from Moon, where he level 2 ganked Bjergsen.
I actually loved it. I think people it shouldn't be that predictable. But I think the idea of ganking early is smart. I call the XP round thing a cheese, but honestly, it's just another play you can make.
Well, the ones they're doing are extra cheesy because it's literally red buff gank. It's not like Raptors red, Scuttle grab on the other side.
I think it makes a lot of sense on Jarvan. When he did it on Kazakhstan, I was like, all right, now...
Yeah, so the first game was the Jarvan game, and it led to this crazy chase down sequence where somehow no one died. When they do it in the second game, it leads to this awkward situation where Sven sits in river, waits for Kha'Zix to walk past him, then he level 2 cheeses, and then after he does blue in his topside jungle, Kha'Zix ganks mid again, and then after Lee does his, he wraps around to the topside, and finally after 4 ganks mid, there's a first blood.
High dies.
And the way Bjergsen played it was pretty cute. Walk up, auto the passive off Malzahar, slow, double bomb, dead.
Perfect, and the reason why they didn't kill Bjergsen on the second dive, which is misexecution.
They missed a ticket damage.
He should have died there 100%. And so, yeah, it just sucks. And once that happened, obviously TSM is the team that gets initiative off that, and it felt like they just ran with it.
I felt like Sven had a pretty good game. He was super, super active.
He did. The only problem was, I think after this play, rather than doing stuff that allows him to cement himself as the dominant jungler in the game, he trades the 1-for-1 on the top lane tower dive.
That was a little mixed up.
And I was like, oh, Moon has a chance to come back in the game.
Well, because what also happened was right before that, Moon ganked top after the one...
Yeah, to kill Hanser.
Yeah. So he killed Hanser after the Bjergsen kill on mid lane. So around 5 minutes, they get an answer kill top. And then, like you said, Balls gets the 1-for-1 trade in the dive. And so you're like, oh, God, this Rumble's starting to come online. Balls' Rumble. Maybe he'll be able to win the game. But TSM get super... aggressive bottom with a TP. They get first turret, and then like it just kind of falls apart for FlyQuest after. Like once the first turret goes down, it feels like they get so crazy.
They lose everything on both sides of the map. Hyde did a flank TP ᵐᵉᵐᵉ play top side. Oh wait, he died. You start to realize that actually Zilean is the perfect counter pick to ᵐᵉᵐᵉ. If he's ever ahead of the Zilean, I can't do anything.
As long as the ᵐᵉᵐᵉ isn't ulting the Zilean, ᵐᵉᵐᵉ is useless.
And if ᵐᵉᵐᵉ is ever ulting the Zilean misplayed. Like I don't know what kind of positioning the Zilean has to be in that situation. It's a great counter pick. And Bjerg's what you call it?
Zilean?
I was say Clockman, but yeah, Zilean. That's what he tweeted. So that's the first thing. Zilean, actually, really, really good. Like his mechanics in that character are super strong, and it never feels like it's a support character. Like with Galio, people are like, oh, he just wave clears and he can't do much. Where if it's like his Zill, you're like, oh, he harasses him hard enough to where the other guy leaves lane. Or
he sets like big double bombs.
Yeah, he sets up ganks, and so it's like, oh, it's like a good carry. It's a carry-oriented support.
The
character.
perfect example of that is when they were doing their Baron, and he has a bomb on his head. He throws a bomb at the Kazakhs and flashes underneath it to get the stun off.
I was like, oh, this guy, Bjerg's too good. But aside from that one game at Worlds against Crown where he got shit stomped in lane, for the most part, Zilean.
What? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That never happened. For the most part, Bjerg's Zilean has been very, very, very good.
The other thing worth noting is that Hauntzer played Kled this game. There were a number of times where, FlyQuest sends resources to the Kled outplays with the Zilean.
It's actually one of the characters that I realized that if you pick into Renekton, diving the Kled is really hard. Because once you dismount him, he has invulnerability and everything resets. So unless you're able to re-dive again, even against like Renekton at least, Kled might be one of the best picks to be able to like contain that level of dive.
That said, he was playing it into Rumble. And Rumble gets fucked by Kled with gank assist.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was like the kind of thing where after Hauntzer, they fucked up that first top dive, they just like kept trying to gank Hauntzer and he kept getting away. And then like their comp is super annoying for TSM. Thresh, Kled, Zilean, Lee. Like just super mobile, super slippery, revives, intargetability, remounts, bullshit. Like it's pretty hard to play against.
And at some point, you kind of could tell TSM was just toying around with the game.
Yeah.
Doublelift started jumping in 1v4. Literally, on the bot lane situation, Bjerg threw 4 bombs on top of Doublelift's head in the span of 8 seconds. I was just like, it's obvious. What are they doing? He literally tried to bait Doublelift to jump into the enemy team. And so I was just like, okay.
Did you hear the comp thing that Hauntzer tweeted out?
No.
He's like, I have ult, go Kevin. And then he ulted Sven with GA up. He just was like, get in there, Kevin, and just let him fucking die. So I guess Bjergsen was trying to have fun or something because it's week 4.
I mean, the game was really one-sided. I can't understand. All right, first game's done.
No, that was the second game.
Oh, wait, second?
We did both series. We did both games already.
Wow, that was...
That's how the series... that's how bad the series was.
You're right. I can't even say you're wrong. You're right.
Yeah, so we're on to C9 versus TL, dude.
Oh, God,
you don't remember covering game 1?
I don't even remember covering game 1.
That's good, dude. Wipe that from your memory, all right? And you're probably going to want to wipe this one. This, for me, falls under the TL series that we are banned from talking about.
I think we should at least need to talk about their roster changes, their roster decisions this series. We can't just completely glance over it.
Right, but can we go over the gameplay? Well, there's one point I want to hit on gameplay.
All right.
The one thing I want to hit on gameplay is why the fuck are you building Rek'Sai with Courage of the Colossus and fucking Cinderhulk? You have gum?
No, sorry. I just it's just like something annoying.
I was gonna ask for gum, motherfucker.
What the?
You're like chewing something. I was like, I could use some gum. Anyways, why are you going Cinderhulk Rek'Sai now? They changed everything to bonus AD ratios. Everyone's supposed to be building Warrior.
Actually, well, Santorin says that tank Rek'Sai is actually not bad. I'm not hugely opposed to the idea because I've seen and played it a little bit. It's not terrible. I do think the Warrior is generally better because it allows you better skirmish potential. It's the same thing why Gragas goes Runic Echoes, right?
Yeah, but if you want a tank, don't pick Rek'Sai. He's so fucking bad in late game now where his knockup hits one person. You can still... I'm not saying you can't scrap with Cinderhulk and be a bruisery motherfucker in the early mid game, but late game you're garbage now. You're actually useless.
Yeah, you're just a damage sponge.
Yeah, which I don't know. I'm saying he again, aren't
Don't even worry about it. Just keep going.
Both him and Inori built this way, apparently, and it tilted me because I was like, why are you doing it? Because especially in Game 1, Reignover got going pretty well on the Rek'Sai pick, but then you just can't take over a game when you're building Cinderhulk the same way. You can if you're...
To be fair, I would do what I say. Jensen's a monster. Like,
oh, that's worth talking about.
Just straight up, let's ignoring TL side of things, Jensen is playing like out of his mind laning-wise this year. Like...
Not even laning wise. I think it's fair to say like Froggen's playing out of his mind laning wise, and then like in late game you're kind of like sometimes Froggen you're like that Tilly ult was kind of and stuff like that. But like Jensen's playing like immaculate. Like almost nothing you can criticize about his play. He's like losing games on a 6-1 Lucian, like a 10-0 Ori. Like you're like
he has 100 CS.
He flame horizons in the mid lane.
At like 25 minutes, he's actually a monster. The one thing is Smoothie, I felt like did a good job of helping them come back. And then once they started team fighting around the Lucian, game was over because they're just a better team.
Yeah. That was Game 1. Game 2, Inori comes in, plays the Rek'Sai.
Let's talk a little bit more about Game 1. Game 1, TL decides to use a new support, Conquan, which I actually think he played pretty well.
He's been on the team since the start of the season. He's been on the sub roster the entire time.
I don't think he's even that bad. Like I played with him. I think he's actually a good player, to be honest. Okay, and then they brought in Slushie. I don't know if he's an upgrade from Golden Glue, but they're just obviously trying. They're throwing stuff at the wall.
I mean,
they're doing this.
Yeah, and it's just bouncing right off. Nothing is sticking.
And so they're like 2 changes. That's not enough. Game number 2, get me Inori. The 3rd change. And of course, what do? They get smashed super hard.
They lose as TL loses. One thing I'll say is like I like the idea of Inori if you can get like a real mid laner who's an import player. Like get Phoenix, get anybody, and put them in there. Get Pyrian from NV if he's not going to stick there.
Oh, that would be an interesting roster change in the middle of the season. I think he's a good player.
I think he's fine. Yeah. So, like, Reignover, I think, is better than Inori. Don't get me wrong. But if you can get a big upgrade in the mid lane position, and then you have, like, Phoenix, Piglet, X-Jungler, Inori, or something like that, maybe that's good. But I can't, I don't know. TL, I don't want to talk about it. It's just more roster swaps, just throwing stuff around, see what happens.
See, I was just going to say, C9 is very fortunate, because some of their games are going pretty badly recently, and if Jensen wasn't playing the level that he's playing, they would lose more games.
I would say he's, like, pretty much MVP candidate.
Yeah, this guy is actually a monster player right now. Absurdly good. I don't know what else to say.
Let's not say any more, and let's get on to our last series of the day, Immortals versus Dignitas. Somehow, a 3-game series. Dignitas wins Game 1, and then their game time between Game 2 and Game 3 was shorter than some games by themselves.
It felt like this was a 2-game series.
It felt like a 2-game series. You want to get right into Game 1?
Yep.
All right, so Game 1 is the Dignitas win. This seems like just a bit of a draft mistake on the side of Immortals here. So Dignitas leave up Zac. I guess trying to get some kind of Galio trade with it, most likely. And then Immortals kind of go, we don't think, Shrimp will play Zac. That's not really Shrimp's style, right? Shrimp's the super aggressive, Lee Sin, Elise, Rek'Sai in your face trying to fuck you up all day. He won't play Zac. And then they pick Zac, and then they get Shen, and they just have a disgusting front line.
Right now, if people don't know, Zac and Rek'Sai are probably the 2 best junglers in the game. And I think Gragas is a good way to try to control both of those junglers. But I would say just generally he's not as good as either of them. He
has like one thing he does better, which is like...
I think his early ganks are really strong.
His early ganks are crazy, and his ultimate is like a game winner if you hit the right thing.
He's able to disrupt the initiations of both of the other champions.
Yes.
So he's very good at doing that. And so, they gave up Zac, and if you get to 20 minutes with Zac and he's not super far behind, at any point during the game you can make game-changing ultis. And I actually think Shrimp team fighting in this game, he hit 2 like ridiculous ultis. Of course, there was problems where, like, for instance, the river fight, Cody's son just flashes in, just kills himself, flashes in on Zac, just kills him. He must know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. When I see that play, all right, he just wants to die. So he just gets ultied by Zac into the enemy team. He dies. Cool. And then Shrimp hits like a great ulti mid lane to kind of close out the game.
Well, so the big mistake was 21 minutes. And so there is that fight, which we'll get to in a second. But I wanted to touch on, like, the classic kind of Dignitas Baron that happened where like Shrimp dies at like 20 minutes, 30 seconds, and then Immortals try and dive mid lane. They can't dive mid lane. Keen gets a double kill, and then they just go straight to Baron, rush it, and get a free Baron. And that's like the Dignitas kind of Baron.
Oh, yeah. No, that was really, really bad where they just tried to dive way too hard mid lane.
Yeah, like Keen had gotten out and was like under his inner turret, and they were like continuing to dive into that, and Keen turns it and gets a double kill. And it's a Cassio with a Shenzak front line, and that's when the really nice ult happens like 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, something like that.
So the first game, Dig looks okay. And the biggest thing I want to say is a Keen on Cassio, completely different player than Keen on other champions. Because I think his Cassio is actually good, and he plays very, very consistently well on Cassio. On other characters, I think consistency has always been his bad point. Keen never really been a super consistent like player, and consistency is, in my personal opinion, like the hallmark of a professional player. To be a professional player, you have to be consistent.
And the perfect example of like people who weren't consistent but had good highs were like Envy with Ninja and Seraph. There were times where you're like, oh my god, these guys are popping off, they're going crazy, but then like they do that 1 out of every 3 games, and then it's not like their other 2/3 of game they just farm even. The other 2/3 of games they get smashed. So consistency isn't just about like high highs or low lows and like how often that happens, but like how big of a spread you get. And Keen was a big spread guy.
Yeah, but I think his Cassio play so far has been excellent. Really, really good.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dig win this game off probably a draft mistake, I'd say, out of Immortals, not taking the Zac pick, and then a mid-game fight that they lost. Off their own fault, kind of. Which brings us into games 2 and games 3, where they don't make mistakes. And they beat the fuck out of Dignitas.
This is like, these are games where you're just like, like Immortals just got really mad.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It was kind of like, God, why we do that game 1?
I feel like they were just playing like on a like somehow Flame unlocked his potential.
They took steroids.
Yeah, something. If he told me that, I would believe it.
Yeah.
The second game is literally Flame highlight reel into like an Smithy highlight reel. It was just like, oh my.
A single Smithy highlight play because shortly after that
he messed up. But that one play.
Oh my god. So in the draft, Dignitas take Kennen early on. Probably because they don't want Flame to get it. And then as soon as the Kennen's out, that opens up the Fiora pick because Kennen's one of the strongest counter picks to Fiora. So then they just take Fiora and Kennen in their first 2 picks, like their first rotation basically, super early on. And then Immortals is like, all right, we'll take Renekton into Fiora. And then Dignitas just try way too hard to snowball Someday. This is like complete tunnel on your win condition. You have the late game. You can play this a couple different ways. Someday's doing fine in the 1v1, and then like 8.5 minutes in, they brute force a dive super hard. And this is the beginning of the end.
Yeah, because top lane, Flame gets dove. Oh, he 1v2s. Whatever happens, 1v2s. He played it well. He
cleared the minion wave
out. Super good play. Just well executed play. Okay, but there's no way he can do it again. So
well, let's bring extra people too, just to be sure.
Yeah, so someday they goes bot lane and they 1v. Well, first of all, he takes the 1v2 and he wins because they take too much damage.
Yeah, so to be fair, we have to set this even more because while he was surviving that initial dive, his Smithy's on the bot side. They grab first turret and Infernal Drake. It's like great. All right, swap him down. Let's get our bot lane up to the top side.
Yep.
And then they go to dive Flame again, and with the bot lane 2-man like attempting to chunk Flame out, he out trades them and fucks them up.
It's like, okay, well, we need the jungler. So the jungler shows up, and they try to dive. He just outplays the dive, kills the Elise. Someday TP's in, and then Someday wasn't able to clean up, and he gets away from the TP after somebody uses flash. And this entire time...
And the Ahri roam down there. It was really, in total, a 5-man gank attempt.
It was something where you were just like, oh no. And this entire time, his team is pushing top.
Yeah. So, basically, Flame takes on all of Dignitas by himself while his team is like running around grabbing global gold.
He essentially 1v5.
Ahri was on Immortals. I'm on crack.
Wait, it was 4 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
He essentially 1v5 the first 12 minutes of the game, and then once the game stabilized, they had a 4 to 5k gold lead, which is enormous, by the way.
Yeah, for 12 minutes or whatever it was.
And then they went mid, and Smithy hits the ulti of his life. He's never going to hit a better Gragas ulti.
You literally can't. How can you hit a better Gragas ulti than a flash predict insect Gragas ultimate? It's so nasty.
Like, he ultied before the other person flashed. He predicted the flash and ultied the Orianna back to his team. He gets the kill, and you're just like... Immortals is too good. Like, you watched that series of events, and you're just like, put this entire thing on the Immortals highlight reel. This should just play when you go to their website.
You're like
this game.
This team is the best team in the world, and then you know, a couple minutes later, Smithy tries to ult a flashless Orianna and misses horribly.
But like up until that point, literally they could just that's their highlight reel. They got it. But this game is just over.
It's over.
It's a 6K lead, 15 minutes of the game, something like that, and they just have to kind of just play it out without being complete idiots. And they don't do a CLG where they throw their like 10K
no.
lead.
So this time, you know, Immortals beats Dignitas by ignoring Someday. Someday never gets going. They smash the other part of the map. Game 3 is the opposite play where they go and they butt fuck Someday. With the help of Shrimp. Shrimp, for some reason, wanted to get in on it, too. And just like, hey, you guys want more gold?
Oh, my God. This is a situation where you're like, okay, well, Smithy starts out. He does his route, and then his route got kind of displaced. So he had topside a little bit of an awkward time, but really good to get a gank off.
Yeah.
He kills Someday, and then Shrimp just is like, no, dude, have me too. Captain goes down with this ship.
Yeah.
Rek'Sai ease in, and it flashes for the Jarvan. Not even close, by the way.
Yeah, like, Someday's been dead for like 5 seconds at this point, and he's just like running headlong into a fight where he knows people are there.
At best, this is a 1-for-1. Like, at best, and a 1-for-1 in this position is bad for you. Because they're committing 2 people up here. As the jungler, you have the entire rest of the map open to make plays. Yeah, and he decides to tunnel on this one play, which makes no sense.
And like overall, this is why we talk about Smithy being so good. Is like he finds the right time to make the right play. Like Renekton versus Fiora, Flame doesn't need help. Flame will handle that 1v1 on his own for the most part. Great, let me go make plays on the other side. This time around, they have J4 into Kennen, which you kind of need to gank it to make it even. Even if you don't get a kill on the first gank, you want to burn its flash, so at 6, Jarvan can get his ultimate, and because Kennen doesn't have an actual gap closer, he has the speed up. If you ult him, it's kind of like an Olaf, you can't get out of there. So you can basically kill the Kennen as long as you get a good first gank off, and the first gank goes even better than good. It goes fucking phenomenally. And you get a double kill, 2 for 0.
And then Olaf just runs trade on the entire map. Like, he's just everywhere the Rek'Sai wants to be. Rek'Sai, at some point, Olaf has 1,300 gold up on the Rek'Sai. He's literally...
He's even more. At some point, it was like 2,200 gold on the Rek'Sai to 4,300 on the Olaf. It was like one of the most disgusting goldies I've ever seen.
So in the terms of either difference, he had Cinderhulk CDR boots to Skirmisher Sable double Longsword. And that was like... And that's the time where, like... They see each other at red, Smithy throws 2 Qs at them, and then Shrimp just leaves. Because he can't do anything.
Yeah. Anyway, so Smithy's not done after that first huge play on the top side. He goes bottom. Oh, wait, no. While that was happening, there's a solo kill going on for Cody Sun and Ole. They solo kill the bot lane of Dignitas, too. And then there's the repeat gank up on the top side. With, it starts off a little shady. Like, Flame goes in a little too soon. He gets chunked down low. Shrimp is there. And it looked like maybe he'll trade back, but then Pobelter's there for the Galley ultimate, and it's just over.
And at some point during this situation, Olaf came in and killed him too.
Yep.
So like, this game was almost a perfect game for Immortals. This was up until the very.
It was gonna be a perfect game,
and then Ole killed himself.
Ole didn't kill himself, to be fair. Like, he tried to kite it out. But like Dignitas literally. All 5 just like inted to get a single kill on Ole.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I respect that play by Dig. And then at that point...
You know what's sad? Pobelter never ulted him. Pobelter could have ulted Ole to give him the damage reduction shield on Galio, and he's like, fucking my support's not worth it. I'm going to focus on doing damage.
You're right.
They might have been able to get a perfect game if Pobelter had liked Ole.
But after he died, they just had 2 people randomly die. The game ended at about 22 minutes... Where they had...
I think it's their fastest game of the split.
It was disgusting. Like, this is a game where you're not coming back from.
Yeah.
And this is why, actually, I thought the series was a 2-game series. Because, sure, Dig won 1 game, and the next 2 games were just like a brutal massacre.
Yeah, it wasn't like a massacre like, oops, Dignitas did something kind of dumb and that's it. And, like, the other team kind of...
It's like, oops, we got just plowed.
Yeah, we got smashed. Like, Immortals was the aggressor. Immortals was the one making the plays and reacting to the enemy team's plays. And it was just so brutal the way it happened. I mean, Dig did kind of int a little bit in them, but it was more on Immortals, I think.
Yeah.
And it feels like with this weekend, because they played against CLG on Saturday and Dignitas here, the other 5-1 teams coming into the weekend, they might have cemented themselves as the number 1 team.
We'll see tomorrow, which segues us perfectly into our Q&A session. We are done with the reviews over the games today. If you have any questions you'd like to ask us, please. Please tag us or tag Greatest League T on Twitter. Ask us questions. Josh will be our lovely host to read the questions and peruse through all of your questions to find us only the best questions ever.
Oh boy. That's a lot to
You playing with my fidget spinner, dude? What the fuck?
No, this is mine. I brought this.
Okay.
You thought only you could
Don't touch my fidget spinner.
Only you could have a P1 fidget spinner. No one else.
Yeah,
has
they
these.
did not just hand out like 2,000 this weekend.
Was it that much?
I don't know.
They handed out so many.
Yeah, they handed out a lot.
Unit alone got 6. So I'm just like,
Shoutouts to all the people who sent in their versions of forum signatures. Here's
Oh, that one's so good. Do I have one like that?
this is Scarra's.
If I don't have like the basic fire text with MarkZ, I'm gonna request that right now. I will give you $0 if you make it for me. I won't even shout you out when you give it to me. I'm just gonna take it and put it underneath my tweets. But I would very much appreciate it. You have my appreciation.
are we actually going through with this?
I don't care what you do. You can
it.
be a pussy.
I'll do it.
There's a couple of people asking about Immortals and then comparing it to the Immortals of last year.
Don't say SKT. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
they're all right. So I saw a really good comment that described the situation. I think that Immortals from last year just got really lucky. Like they scouted like decently. Like okay, well these guys smashed Fnatic. Let's just bring them over. We'll see how it works out. And then they brought together with like Turtle and Pobutter. Oh, I hope it works out. And it did. Honestly, they're a fantastic, best team in the region up until their playoffs just exploded both times. This season, though, I thought they did a good job rebuilding around pieces like getting Xmithy was super smart, getting Song was really smart, and they went from a team that like maybe fluked into success to a team that cemented themselves in success off good decisions. Now, I'm not saying that they're like gonna be number 1 at the end of the season. I would just say up until this point, they made some pretty good decisions.
Anything to add, Mark?
I don't know. This still feels like a little bit of a fluke. I don't think anyone would have said that like you took a 7th place team, add Smithy to it, and suddenly they're 1st place team.
That is true, especially with how bad Smithy played last season.
Yeah, like so that's why I'm like a little like, this kind of feels because like Pobelter's like, oh yeah, I mean this is really really surprising. Kobe asked him like, how much is it in Song, how much of it is Smithy, and he's like, I don't know. Yeah. So I think Song added a lot because the 2016 Immortals, I think you could say their coaching staff, in-game knowledge-wise, was not the best for the team. It didn't help them out as much as they should have. In terms of playstyle similarities, I actually don't think they're that similar because like
they're not at all.
Huni Reignover was like, you're gonna get the fat camp top when like Pobelter will handle his own and bot lane will like get help when they need it. And now like Smithy is way more bot centric. There was a augmented reality thing that they did on Friday's stream, and it was like Smithy has way more bot focus than top or mid focus, and he'll flip topside when he needs to for like a heavy dive, like an Elise Renekton, or like this time around Jarvan versus Kennen. Like he'll flip topside when he needs to, but for the most part, I think they're more bot centric, playing around Cody, who's like one of the best AD carries in the league. Whereas like I think 2016 Turtle, you wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I guess now you mentioned that way. Yeah, okay, let's just say they got lucky twice. Like,
I'm not saying they have to get lucky twice.
No.
I'm just saying
I would say okay. The Song acquisition was good.
That was really
the
smart.
The acquisition was good in terms of like what they had before.
I feel like that saying that though is like pretty results oriented. Like if Xmithy came in and he played just the same level as he did last split, Mortals wouldn't be a 1st place team.
No, and I think they would have got better because I do think Song, without knowing too much behind the scenes, just given his history of like being a coach in the Korean scene pretty well.
And to be honest, like I know Xmithy and Pobutter had good synergy working together, and so I know that may be a drastic increase from the synergy that Dardoch and Pobutter had.
Negative synergy to any synergy.
Yeah, like so that's why I would say like it's not as results oriented as some people may think. But after what Mark did say, I will say, yeah, they got a little bit lucky.
Yeah, like it's going to be better most likely than the 7th place finish, but I think one is a surprise even to the own their order.
Absolutely. Like you could have maybe predicted top 5. Top 1 is a pretty big stretch.
Yep.
Another questions was about FlyQuest.
What was the question?
Well, the question is like, what's the difference between FlyQuest this split and last split, and why are they like struggling so hard now?
You know when you play blackjack and sometimes you make $1,000? That was last split, and this time they're playing blackjack and they're losing $1,000.
Looks like they're losing more than that.
Yeah, maybe they double down. They're like, oh shit. But yeah, that's about the difference between them. There's really, I would say maybe the meta's a little worse.
No,
So-
I don't. The thing is, it's like I think that they're a team that kind of got lucky to get into the playoffs position that they did.
Yeah,
So, you know, last split, when FlyQuest was announced as another team in the LCS, like, everyone and their mothers were saying, FlyQuest is going to be the last place team, you know, that's just it. And then they surprised everyone in that split. They made a miracle play into playoffs, did really well in playoffs, and now we're here.
So, like, the thing is, to recap their season completely, is like, first half 7-1, then they go, I think, 1-7,
really
Yeah.
bad.
and then they get a 2-0 in their last week to make it into the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Yeah, so it looked really bad.
They beat CLG after being behind 0-2 and like games.
They
that
get a
looked
reverse sweep.
Really dominant, yes.
And it looked like they should have got smashed that series, and apparently something happened that caused CLG to tilt really hard and lose the series, which, no excuses. FlyQuest did play well enough to win. They get smashed in the semis, and then it's a close series against P1, who honestly basically had the exact same playoff story, where it was like kind of close first round, smashed in the semifinals, and then there.
A lot of it's just like in terms of, and this is true of even players. Like it's not, for the most part, players will never get worse, but it's that everyone else around you gets better. And that's like the biggest thing.
I don't think I agree with
You
that.
don't think players get worse, or you think
I think players
worse?
do get worse. I think, like, depending on how hard they're trying, you know, just based off, like, maybe this isn't as good of a meta. Like, I think that is a real thing where it's just like, oh, now you have to play this, and you're just not good.
Maybe the meta stuff, but in terms of even effort, I feel like sure, but for the most part, it's other people get much better. You know, I think it's easy to like, even if you go stagnant, like to maintain some relative shape of your old form, whereas like people who are just like getting a lot better over time are just looking way better than you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a good example is like
you use your own team as an example, as Delta Fox. Like, do you guys really think that you guys right now aren't any worse than you were
In season
when
4.
you were playing?
we were. I can definitively say I am like at least 20%, 30% better. Absolutely. And I think everyone on my team is better than they were. Well, at least for me, I think I'm better than I was when I played, for sure. But
it's a harder comparison for you, obviously, because you're
I feel like I've got. Yeah, I feel like no. I just like if I still play mid, just every year the competition gets better.
Sure, I think that's hard to argue against, but like.
There's like, I think the idea that like, oh, I didn't get worse, everyone around me got better is just flawed.
Yeah.
I don't think that's always the case.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players get worse.
Yeah, maybe it's not as binary as that
Like-
situation, but I think especially when we're bringing it back to the FlyQuest situation, I don't think FlyQuest got better. Similar to what C9 did the entire other split, I think FlyQuest from last split to this split kind of stayed the same.
Yeah.
They didn't make dramatic changes.
No, and I don't even think they were that good last split.
Yeah.
I think they like, you know, they had a great first half of the split, horrible second half, limped into playoffs, and had like a decent run. But like now they're back in like the second half form of last split, and that looked horrible. That looked like one of the worst teams in the league.
And they have some shining stuff here and there, but for the most part, yeah, they look pretty bad.
And yeah, I don't know. I think I wouldn't necessarily say that they've definitely gotten worse, but I think skills degrade pretty heavily depending on how much time you're putting in. Like I know whenever we took a break between splits and came back, every player was like, God, I feel awful right now. I feel so rusty. And everyone needs to get back into the swing of things. And I think like that really does happen. Where like,
yeah, I can see that in terms of rust, but I mean in general, everyone's playing like a decent amount. Like I would say mechanical wise, like everyone's playing a decent amount, but everyone becomes smart. Should become smarter as the season progresses because knowledge just becomes the foundation.
but that's not even true because the game changes and then like you don't play a matchup correctly anymore.
But
is Corky Oriana the exact same match it was last split?
No, absolutely not. But the idea of how to play the game, like just in general how to play, just the idea that that people understand how to control sides of the map.
Sure. I can agree with that. Like mid jungle synergy or jungle mid synergy or jungle support synergy.
Even the idea of like pushing out lanes to roam or getting river control. Getting river control is something that like teams still have problems with. But it's something that, like people didn't even talk about until like the ᵐᵉᵐᵉ existed. Like months after ᵐᵉᵐᵉ came out.
I remember talking about that before that. Before I remember when ᵐᵉᵐᵉ came out, I joked about it with Dom, like it's gonna become the new meta. Because like you thought you knew how to control river before, you knew nothing. Now you need ᵐᵉᵐᵉ timings. But seriously, like I think like setting up Baron Vision is something that like a lot of teams do okay, but anytime you put a team together again, you have to relearn it. Even though you already know it, until you can practically do it, you don't actually know. Like you can say you know it.
Trust me, on Delta Fox.
Yeah, that's, I didn't want to bring up Delta Fox again. I didn't want to bring up.
Trust me.
Like conceptually,
when I'm just like to the point where I had to go into Rift Kit and like mark out the places to place pinks and the green ward for Baron and Dragon. Trust me.
Yes, like conceptually, you might still know how to do it, but in terms of practicality, your ability to integrate it into the game, people do get worse at that.
I think a lot of that's we're not playing much together, but no, I know. I know what you mean. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on. We got another forum signature for Scarra.
Oh my god, can Scarra stop getting all the good ones?
This was an hour ago, but this one's dope.
Dude, that's like a Persona 5. You just executed someone, and that's like the card that comes out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's because that's actually a Scarra pick. Like someone did that picture before.
Oh,
so they slashed it and they added like another half. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that one's actually cool. Okay. Anyways, that was from Ryuga Unchained.
Oh, maybe I just have a different forum sticker after every one of my
wait,
comments.
Scarra's got another one. Hold on, what is this one? Wait, okay, this one's not as good.
That's awful.
Wait, it's Cutie Pie.
It's Cutie Pie as Ash Ketchum and me as Pikachu. That's.
Wait, did this guy even make that last image? No, I don't think so.
Probably not. He probably just downloaded. I mean, it's the internet. I made this. You made this.
Yeah. Does Scarra sit where he's at the couch so we can all enjoy watching him have Pikachu ears? That's right. Actually, Scarra, for some reason, because of where you sit, you're always right where the Pikachu ears are.
I was sitting here before the Pikachu arrived. I'm just saying it's.
You mean back when we were facing that way?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any good questions, or is the bank dry?
When are the best times to play Zillion mid?
Any good into Malzahar, like legit. It's actually like also into specific assassin picks. It's pretty good, and into Victor. Victor was the original. Zillion was the original Victor counter that GBM did.
Someone, Deficio retweeted someone. Some analyst said that he liked it into Cassio as well.
Yep. But I didn't agree with that.
I saw them tweet that. I wanted to hear some reason. I didn't see any reason behind it.
Because you can run away really fast.
No, because I don't think any champion that can default Storm Raiders is ever going to be good into a champion with a utility slow. Because
I can kind of see that. But then again, like the slow sets up the double bomb. So if you get slow double bomb, they're not going to have time to proc their Storm Raiders.
Yeah.
So I can maybe still see it working, but
and then Cass turns around and just kills you.
No, I mean, for the most part, what happens is if you're running Zillion plus something that can initiate onto like a mobile mid laner like Cassio or Syndra.
Yeah, you have something like Olaf.
Again, it's really really good.
Yeah.
But I can also see where it's not that great because she does have some level of mobility to be able to get away from stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Zillion is definitely a fringe pick because you need to pick it into something it's good into, and then you also need to pick it with something it's good with.
You need like an Olaf or a Bruiser, or you need like a hyper carry Trist or something on your team. Or Kog'Maw, really good example.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark, do you agree that sugar-free classic Red Bull is far superior to all other variants?
No.
But it has less calories.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, actually, define better. Is it healthier? I still actually don't know that.
Yeah.
But at the very least, it has less calories. Yeah. I prefer the flavors of almost every other Red Bull.
Yeah, actually.
I like the red-blue ones.
The blueberry's really good. Oh, yellow's good.
Yellow's
the orange one's good. There's green now, too.
They don't even sponsor us yet, guys. Calm down.
I know.
Yeah,
hey,
actually,
Red Bull, why don't you sponsor us and we'll talk about how great your product is.
I like a certain energy drink quite a lot, and I have multiple ones a day.
Moving on, will we see Leona Taric now that Blitzcrank is popular?
You should no. Leona is actually just not a good champion.
Yeah, that rework it made it worse, right?
Wait, Leona got a rework?
Not like a rework. They changed her ult and like her passive.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
They made her ulti so that her ulti charges her autos to do more damage for 3 hits. But because
when did they do this?
But
I have
but
no
because-
idea.
It was a while ago.
But because of that, they took off base damage on her like other. It's like something weird.
They took a lot of damage out of her burst to make it more like sustained. Kind of like it was like during the assassin update time where for some reason Riot got it in their head where they're like everything should be sustained damage, and you're like, oh, okay.
Well,
that crushes Leona's identity, really.
Yeah, where she goes in and fucks you up.
And Tarek should
With
see
someone else.
should see play again because right now Braum and Kent are really meta, and Tarek has always done historically
really
well
good,
into them.
yep.
And I'm just surprised no one's actually played them yet. He'll come back for sure. He's good in a lot of team comps with or against those champs.
Oh, yeah, his ultimate is just like so good that
Yeah, it's just unbelievably good. Alistar's only good into Rakan right now. Super random.
E changes not so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of killed.
The whole I'm gonna bitch this lane out no longer
make
being
plays
an
in
option.
mid-game.
Yeah. I'm gonna lose my tower 8 minutes. That's what picking Alistar is actually.
Yeah. Oh god, you can gank with him.
Yeah.
He's got some good gank assists.
Yeah, and so does Thresh.
Rakan.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Okay, I've been seeing a lot of this around the subreddit in general, and a lot of people have been saying this, but people have been saying now that this meta seems like it's been the best it's ever been. Well, not ever been, but for a while now.
It's just because a lot of the times people see these metas are off the back of really
bad metas. Yes.
So, like a good example, this meta is off the back of the Karma Lulu Zyra only bot lane support meta.
With utility AD carry.
Yeah,
utility carry and super tanks.
This was off the back of like top lane being Fiora plus like
Tanks.
Yeah. But now because D Shield exists, bot lane actually benefits the most from D Shield because range supports can no longer pressure the AD as much as they could before.
Yep.
And you can, if you're with a melee support, the AD could go D Shield and you can kind of like bitch out the early six.
Well, yeah, because they no longer have D Blade necessarily, so you don't take as much harass either as the support.
Right.
So just all around less damage in the bot lane.
Yeah.
Or higher sustain.
I'm trying to remember like when I had the most fun with like league meta stuff.
In terms of watching, the season 3 one was kind of fun just because fucking supports popped all the time and it was
Mid laners
assassins.
just like destroyed supports over
you
and
played
over.
LeBlanc and you did one hit the Zyra.
And then you'd have stuff like Vayne and Twitch like popping off too. Like that's always fun to watch.
I think in terms of bot lane diversity, it's back. It used to be super bad, and now it's back to being good again.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna say when. I was gonna say season 4 bot lane was super good when you had the 2v1 where you would freeze the lane back towards you.
Yeah.
And you could do really cool things with like item timings and power spike timings where it's like, all right, get Corki the level 6 faster, leave him on like basically what mid Corki is, and then you would go back and you would get your Phage or your Sheen first depending on the matchup. And then like, Vayne and Twitch had item timings where they would get their Cutlass first and then swap back at level 6. And you just had like a lot of cool stuff like that. And that's just dead. Because Caitlyn exists.
Yeah. But thank God these shields out for bot lane works out.
Oh
Top
my God, I
lane,
hate Caitlyn's.
top lane's all over the place. I think mid lane diversity it's one of the best it's ever been in a while. There's a lot of meta mids, but there's also like niche mids you can play into meta stuff. So the way I see it is that, for instance, Syndra's a really good meta mid, but you can play like a lot of things into the counters. So Fizz, Echo, and Vlad are really, really good into Syndra right now. And on top of that, if you could counterpick each of those 3 individually, so for instance, like there's like really good TF is a really good Echo counter right now, apparently from what I've heard. And then like Fizz has like a lot of random counters because the champ's not safe at all. And so does Vlad. Have like Ori like after level 6 does really, really well. Cassio is always countered to character, and so while there's really, really good blind pick characters, there's also like counters to almost everything with counters to those as well.
Yeah. And that pretty much rounded out what was going on.
Gotta check my Twitter before, see if I have any forum sig sent to me.
I just generally avoid questions that are just like, what do you think about, who do you think is the best team, or like stuff, because we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Just tell you hate our fans.
Champions. No, I'm not. Mark hates. Mark hates.
I hate most people.
Yeah.
I love everyone.
Someone
I didn't get it.
Someone sent me the MarkZ. They forgot an E.
It's not even that bad.
It's not that, like, I'll take.
Where's my forum signature? I want a cool forum. I want one that was cooler than that second one that Scarra got.
What? Wait, that one's so cool. You're not gonna get one better than that, dude. Take what you can
Man,
get.
I should show you guys
I got
my
fucking 1
signature
cent.
work.
I got 1 cent to me,
What was yours?
and it wasn't even spelled right. The MarkZ.
That's funny though.
I mean, I'm gonna use it no matter what.
You should get this tattooed.
Yeah. It's the MarkZ with not even a capital Z at the end. It was just like, fuck this guy. Just so he stops talking. But I'm gonna use it.
I love it.
All right.
If anyone in the next 30 minutes, 20 minutes wants to send me another one, I'll hold off using my forum sigs and revolutionizing Twitter.
See, the problem with
It's your last chance to get in on this, guys.
my old tag or whatever was this really weeby thing.
What was it?
It was Amatsuka.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah. And you
So
walked
all my
around having a tagline. You push your glasses up and say it.
Yep. On Naruto Arena, I had a 47-game win streak. It was one of the highest at the time.
Wow.
Oh, wow. We're with established company.
What's
here.
your virgin streak at?
Virgin streak is well, that would mean it's a 0.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's pretty much it.
Oh, goodbye, guys.
Yeah.
This has been Greatest League Talk Show. If you missed today's show,
We all bored ourselves.
you
to
can
death.
see the VOD. It'll be available tomorrow around noon at the YouTube, which is youtube.com/Greatest League TS. Anyways, we'll be back here tomorrow with our weekly power rankings as well as the 4 games from tomorrow.
See you guys. Expect Immortals to go up. Expect all this stuff.
Expect Team Liquid to just...
Eventually, Josh will change this scene so we can leave.
I don't know. I'm pretty comfy right now. All right.
I mean,
Actually, I want to leave.
yeah.
I'm hungry.
Bye, guys. Have a great night.
End screen.